Hey guys, I've just attended the launch event of this particular watch that I'm showing you right now. Horage just had their first media event in Ronda, Spain, showcasing a number of interesting watches, including this one right here, which as you can see is a Tourbillon watch. It's called the Tourbillon 2, and it's the follow-up release from the original Tourbillon 1, and the main way that it differs from that is that while the first one had an open work dial, this one has a more traditional closed dial implementation, but it's been done in a rather unexpected way. So in this variation here, if you take a closer look, you might be able to tell that it is in Grand Feu Enamel, which if you know your watches, you'll know that it requires a very expensive and artisanal process to create. And Horage has done this in collaboration with one of the most famous enamel artisans in Switzerland, Donze Cadron. Now Grand Feu Enamel is of course known for having a soft, luscious shine, with the added advantage of being able to retain its beauty for a long time since it doesn't fade. However, it is difficult and time-consuming to make, not just requiring immense skill, but lots of experience as well. With the Tourbillon 2, the aim was, unlike in the open-worked dial in the Tourbillon 1, where you showcased the movement by opening everything up, this one is aimed at being a little bit more traditional in the sense that you cover up the movement and you leave a little hole in the dial for the tourbillon. You can see Arabic numerals around the dial, and I was told that this is a particular font that Horage themselves created in an internal chat group, and it's not a font that you can find anywhere else. Now if we turn the watch around, we see that this is a manual winding movement with a power reserve of 5 days, and it looks very much like the movement that you find in the original Tourbillon 1, although there are a few notable changes, such as the addition of a power reserve indicator to the movement, which ups the jewel count a little, and of course the big one, a silicone hairspring coming courtesy of the patent for its use, expiring last year. If you take a closer look at the Tourbillon cage, you'll find the cage is in titanium and it is at 0.29 grams, one of the lightest in the watch industry. Additionally, like the movement in the previous Tourbillon 1, it can also hack, making it one of the rare tourbillons on the market that can do so. Now, given that Horage were trying to go for a more traditional presentation in the style of this watch, you'll find the Arabic numerals as noted, but there's an interesting detail as well that speaks to the brand's independence, in the sense that they have engineered and created this movement entirely of their own. It's certainly true, I've witnessed it myself. If you want to buy a watch with this particular tourbillon movement, the only place that you can buy it is at Horage. And in order to showcase this fact, they've actually created little images of their movement components that take the place of the markers behind the Arabic numerals. And that's actually quite an interesting detail that you can have a look at when you look at the dial of the watch. It's certainly something that speaks to the brand's real independence. Now, the power reserve indicator at the 2 o'clock position here is not something I'm particularly a fan of, because I like to photograph my watches at 10:10, which means that the minute hand will block it when I do. Though when you consider the design of the dial overall and the position of the tourbillon, the power reserve indicator at 2 o'clock is definitely the best position to put it at. Also, it is useful and relatively small, so no big deal there. Now, the Grand Feu Enamel is one of 2 dial options available for the Tourbillon 2. The next one is this version here, which comes with a blue dial. There's a very interesting detail about this dial, which is the pattern. If you look very closely, it's a unique lined pattern which was inspired by an 8th century Irish manuscript called the Livre de Douro, which consists of texts from the 4 Gospels. It's an interesting fact, but even without knowing it, the dial is visually very attractive. This blue dial version here is something that you can consider as an alternative to the Grand Feu Enamel dial, and the advantage is that it will be slightly less expensive. Now, the interesting thing about the Tourbillon 2 is that you will be able to specify many options, and one of these is this new stainless steel bracelet. Now, the stainless steel bracelet will only come on the stainless steel case, and this is worth noting because there are yellow gold and white gold variations that are available that you can choose. But if you want to get this bracelet, you can only get it with a stainless steel case. The good news for owners of the first Tourbillon is that the case is the same, which means that this bracelet is backwards compatible. You will be able to buy a bracelet from Horage in order to fit it onto your Tourbillon 1 if you choose to. Let's take a closer look at this bracelet. It's a double deployant, as you can see. It's very well made, and the center links are polished while being brushed on the sides. Now, this particular watch is a prototype watch, and it has been worn extensively by one of the watchmakers at Horage, yet despite this, the overall condition still looks really good. At the width of the bezel is 41mm, but on the underside of the case, the part that actually touches your wrist, it's 39mm. So while it does give an impression of a rather sizable watch at 41mm, it actually wears very well because the part of the watch that touches your skin is only 39mm. And let me show you what it looks like. So here's the watch on my 16.5cm wrist. It wears well, it's comfortable, and it's extremely thin. So here's the bracelet version of the watch on my 16.5cm wrist. As you can see, the bracelet hugs the wrist well. It gives you another option of another look in terms of how you would like to wear this watch. So overall, what do I think about the new Horage Tourbillon 2? Well, the fact that there are two ways to buy this watch means that there will be something that will suit your taste. I think that in terms of what this watch is going for, which is a more conservative tone, it succeeds well. And you have a tourbillon, which is essentially the selling point for this watch. Now, if you're interested to get one, you can find out more information at this URL below. But to summarize, it works like this. As of now, the first pre-order is over, and the old base price for the Livre de Duro Blue Dial with stainless steel case of 8,990 Swiss francs has increased to 10,990 Swiss francs. To this, you can add additional upgrades and customizations, like the Grand Feu Enamel dial or 18K gold cases to the base price to get your ideal configuration. The prices will go up gradually with each pre-order round. There are 2 stages left out of 3, and the final base price will be 11,990 Swiss francs, and this will occur sometime next year between Q2 and Q3. Alright then, let me know what you think about the Tourbillon 2 in the comments below, and let me know as well if you are going to order the watch. See you in the next one.